The concept of evolution has been nothing new in TCG format as we've seen with things like Pokemon, but I feel that for Vanguard, the concept of evolution is just a little bit special because not only it actually give you a new shiny look to the unit, it also actually improve upon the performance of the deck or essentially just change the way that the deck is played for better or for worse. And today we're gonna be counting down 10 of them. Starting off with number 10, and let's be real here, if you are talking about the boss upgrade, we can't really escape the Mas mechanic, and number 10 in my opinion is currently the king of Mas. Kind of. It's Cardinal Wolf Orfist Mas, and some of you might think, why put it so low? Well, Cardinal Moss, in my opinion, is both good upgrade to Office and also a bad one. You see, Orfist Mas actually increases the amount of rush you can do with Shadow Army token as well as the pressure you can exert as a Vanguard thanks to its additional 3 drive, and its ability to be able to play any set order from your drop zone is a huge help. However, it is also a bad deck in a sense that it completely destroy what was built upon with Office Rages and kind of like shit on it, as Office Mas sacrifices World Order and have a slightly more restrictive superior core condition for the token for the sake of speed, which both work well and against the deck. And that's why I put it at number 10 because I feel he is like a Twilight. He is both good upgrade of the boss in it and a bad one as well. Like if I have a top 10 bad upgrade boss in it, he will be right there in 10th place as well. The same I can't really say it with number 9, which is in my opinion a test mechanic that kind of both fail and works at the same time, and that is Viola-Whip's Drajeweled Tamayura. Tamayura is an upgrade to Glitter unit which have kind of a unique way to upgrade in a sense that you literally write into the original version of the boss unit to actually evolve. So this is literally like a hands-on proper evolving, and in my honest opinion, Tamayura is definitely a very good boss unit. And the reason why I picked this over any other of the Glitter evolution is simply boiled down to the fact that it actually fixed so much issue for the deck, as in the original Tamayura, Fox Arts exists kind of like a way for them to introduce Murakumo into the Overdress format, but I feel with this card it actually makes an integral part of Tamayura, at least intentionally, as this allows you to search for any of the Fox Art or any of the normal order you can get from your deck, and that kind of means that you can lead into cards like Broken Toys, the very same minus 10k blitz order that Tamayura has, and also the camera order that allows you to build your board very easily. And not only that, the best part about Viola-Whip's in my opinion is the fact that it actually allows you to retain the Tamayura first skill, which increase your front row power by 5k, and not only that, it also gives additional power to Ririmi and Radami that was called by the effect for another 5k, allowing the deck to actually hit for very solid number for a 5 attack decks that is very excel at utility. The only reason why I'm putting it at number 9 is because of the fact that this doesn't really fix the basic issue of Tamayura, and that is the fact that the first grade 3 turns can be shut down easily by one trigger. Though, and this is gonna be a big though, there is most likely a PR coming for Tamayura that allow you to accelerate your turn by 1 turn, as we have seen with Decoria and Aurora, which may change the way this deck works. And the next 2 and 3 is Mas entry, I'll say this first. And we're starting off with easily the most dark horse Mas unit I have seen among all the members at the moment. Avaricious Demonic Dragon King, Gon Mas. Gon Mas in my opinion is definitely, for a lot of people, a downgrade. And some people might say it might be worse than Tamayura, but I feel sometimes less is more. And that is exactly what Gon Mas decided to take, and it actually improved the deck flow quite a lot. As now, not only you can restand with only 3 standing units and no Soul Blast, Gon Mas is also able to allow you to search for any desired level from your deck, allowing you to kind of build your board before you actually play into the game. And I will say this first, the biggest drawback that a lot of people argue with Gon Mas is the fact that you are no longer able to completely combo into multiple Vanguard stand with the original, and I think it is something that is fine to throw away. And I'm saying this in a way that playstyle is funny, but it is not meta. The fact that Bushiroad realized that and kind of like just chave it out is actually a good thing. However though, this recording was made before the review of the Gridon for the DZBT01. Things might change in the way I think.
I mean, it's alright, like...
And then we have number 7. Teasing Spiritual is Zorga Mas, the original king of Mas, and for a few good reasons. For one, Mas is an order mechanic which play very well into Zorga gameplay, and for two, I feel Zorga is the only Mas unit that seems to play very differently from the rest, most likely due to his nature of needing to accommodate to actually do something. So they kind of have to design Zorga very differently, and I feel that is in his favor, as for one, he don't really need to use his remove skill unless the player need an order to activate or a rare card to actually swing at your opponent. And for two, his magic condition is a lot easier to do compared to the original. If Orfist Mas actually sabotage the way Orfist is played, Zorga Mas actually complements it by making it easier. So I feel that is the biggest improvement Zorga could have done for Zorga as a deck, but the deck still heavily rely on normal orders, and the deck defensive capability are still pretty bad even with the deck capability to recycle PG very consistently. However though, Zorga is getting a new form in Rise, and it's gonna be very interesting to see what Zorga Nadia, I think that's the name, bringing for Zorga as a deck. And then we have number 6, one of the very few original evolution units, and that is Aurora Fierce Princess Seraph Pure Light. Pure Light was a card that reshaped Prison from a very mid control deck into a very disgusting control deck, as not only it capable of putting multiple cards into prison in one instances, it's also actually take benefit from it, and the benefit that it's taking is actually pretty damn disgusting, as you know, it get additional 5k for every 2 cards in the prison, 10 or more, all unit gets a crit, and this applies to every unit on the field. And I would say for the longest time, I mentioned in the channel a lot, if the deck is able to bypass prison, it is a good deck. And I feel I'm still holding on to that thought as much as possible, because since then, a lot of deck is able to bypass this gate and essentially just turn Pure Light into like Gym 4 in Pokemon or something like that. Challenging enough for you to think through, but not challenging enough to be able to, you know, competitive. Especially Seraph Pure Light is still have a very bad turn 3, and now I feel Pure Light effect on prisoning 6 card on hand, soul and field is not as effective as it used to be, even with security upgrader, which actually improve the way she can imprison. And that's why I'm still willing to put it
top of the
bottom of the list, as I feel Pure Light definitely redefined what could be considered a good control unit. Then we move on into number 5. From the same booster, we also get another unit that kind of defined the meta quite a bit. I feel this is one of the strongest spark that DBTO4 has generated for us as a Vanguard player. Silvan Hornbeast Emperor, Magnolia Elder. This card, even after all this time, is still considered to be good. And for a very good reason. For one, it goes +1 on right, which is huge in itself already. But not only that, it is capable of giving just a little bit more power to auto unit on the field, which is fine being a rush deck. And not only that, it also allows you to intercept from back row, which means that you can actually take advantage of some of the units like Enlaguf to actually get additional shield value on the intercept, or any other unit in store carrier that is capable of gaining additional shield when intercept. And not only that, that +1 also synergizes well with easily one of the most important cards in Store Carrier today, Elite Pulse Dragon. So to put it simply, Magnolia Elder was able to take advantage of some of the best cards that Store Carrier has to offer, while still allowing Rush deck to be able to sustain extremely well. And some of you might think Magnolia has fallen off just a little bit by now, and I would say it is. And that's why it is in number 5, but I feel its effect is still very prevalent. And even after all this time, it is still a very good unit. Number 4, we have Hexaorb Sorcerer Aquamarine, and I would say Aquamarine amongst the top 5 is the simplest in the way that this unit upgraded from the original counterpart. But the solution that it brings to the deck is so crucial, and in my honest opinion, it just makes the deck so much better, and it kind of boils down to one simple keyword: resource. Hexaorb in original version used so much resource that it is a joke, and on top of the fact that you have still to rely on triggers. But now, you don't have to rely on as much counterblast, you still rely on it, but it works more as a way for you to extend into the way you play. And I would say this now, if they do just that, it would have been already better for the deck, but they decided to modernize the way the deck play as well. By instead of giving more power when you reveal a trigger, they decided to give a unit restand instead, which makes so much difference for it. And on top of that, they still decided to keep the power increase by literally just modify the trigger completely, and you also retain the triple drive without losing any card from your hand. The only thing that you need, Persona Right. And this is where I have to give a critique for the deck, because the reason why it's only in number 4 is because of the fact that it modernized the playstyle, fixed one main issue, but it doesn't really fix the other issue, and that is the fact that Hexaorb still heavily rely on triggers to actually get all the effect out. And to be fair, as much as energy craze help her a lot, the 50 card rules actually sabotage her playstyle just a little bit.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
Now, top 3. And I have to put a little bit of Dark State here also, but I feel like this entry, everyone can agree, is a huge step up for this unit. Demonic Jewel True Dragon Drajeweled Ignis. Yes, that's the name. I don't know what's with a weird grammatical error, but let's go with it. Ignis literally just fixed multiple issues that Drajeweled has in the past. For one, it reduced from power instead of 1 to 0, making a lot of attacks in Drajeweled now actually matter because it hit the magic number in the best way possible. 2, its reduction skill are no longer a targeted skill, which actually is counterable in the past. Now it is not only it is completely non-target, it also literally have an additional benefit of burning the entire back row at the cost of a slightly more expensive cost, as you have to soul blast 5 different grades. But they also notice that issue and give additional skill where Drajeweled literally can use other Drajeweled in soul to substitute for any missing grade.
Synergy.
Essentially fixing almost every possible issue that the original Drajeweled has. But on top of that, it also got the additional skill which allow you to essentially fulfill 40% of the cost every turn for free, and on top of that give you additional 15k to the front row. So overall, Drajeweled Ignis is such a huge upgrade to Drajeweled that it turned itself into a meta competitive deck. The only reason why I feel it fall flat of hitting the top 2 is simply boils down to the fact that Drajeweled wasn't as problematic as these 2 units I'll be discussing about when it comes to their original form.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Let's start off with easily, in my opinion, one of the most annoying original boss to actually play in Overdress, Herminia. Original Herminia was such an annoying card to do, as not only you have to burn all your souls, it also have to burn for all of your counterblast. And what does it give you? A bloody restand. No power, just a restand, and you have to discard 1 for it some more. And the only additional benefit it actually gives you is, you know what it is? It just reduces the cost of any powerful unit by 1 counterblast, which is very hard to pull off, in the sense that if you have any unit that requires you to counterblast 2, like Ellie for example, you have to have a countercharger to go with it, which makes the deck really hard to play. That is until Enduring Beauty Herminia comes in and literally just fix almost every aspect of Herminia's issue and turn it into something that is actually very respectable. As now, not only you don't have to discard for the restand cost, it can restand the entire front row unit as long as those units are powerful in its name, and you don't have to deal with no face up damage condition that the original Herminia has. And secondly, it actually applies all of the cost reduction skill to all units in the front row, as long as it is auto skill and you have 3 or more damage face down. This modernization of Herminia literally just turned Herminia from a very bad recall deck into easily one of the most used recall deck in the format right now. It is not in top 10 of decks people will use for sure, but it is definitely one of those dark horse that if you see it coming up, be careful. And I feel that deserves second place in this entry. I feel that like from entry number 10 all the way to number 3rd, all of these decks are still kind of playable even without a proper upgrade, but I feel Herminia really upgraded the deck. I feel it only just simply fall short just a little bit because it wasn't the most played deck during the time she got updated, as that title belongs to Face the Magika Vilista. This card literally just turned easily the worst Radical deck that ever exists into easily one of the strongest upon release of the booster. Festica Magika Vilista fixed so much issue that the deck had with the original version of Vilista and actually make it for the better. As for one, she searches for her own gem now. She don't need a weird shit like Trudy to actually activate a skill, and on top of that, she also get additional gem that allow you to fully make use of her skill, as instead of just simply allowing you to Soul Blast 2 separate instances, you just Soul Blast once instance and just trigger the skill based on which gem you actually Soul Blast. And that's why that brand new gem does come into play a little bit, as all the skill that she gets is actually a huge improvement, in the sense that as we should take the same logic with Gon Mas, but I think it's the other way around, you get the point. Less is more, as now Vilista simply just straight up plus 15k and don't need to care about the not being able to intercept, and you just call 2 cards from top 5 without milling those last 3 cards. Those simple but very effective fix actually makes the deck a lot more playable and actually make a lot of support in Vilista deck that exists before actually shines very well, especially with cards like Ophelia. To be fair, a lot of cards that was released together with this card kind of make it such that Vilista actually perform extremely well. But regardless, I do feel that this is easily one of the most influential boss upgrade I have seen in Overdress format. But what do you guys think? I'm fully aware there is a lot of good boss upgraded out there, but these are my top 10. But do leave down in the comments below if there is any boss upgrade unit you feel worth a praise. And yeah, that's all I have for today. Take care of yourself, and this is Magika signing out.